Hi, this is Tara Pritchett, confidence coach for women who need to get their shit together. And today I want to talk about one quick tip that you can use to increase your vibe and change it and shift it so that you can start attracting different types of men into your life. So, here's the thing with your vibe, it's all about the energy that you have going on. As I always say, it is very intangible, and even though we cannot see it physically, people can certainly feel it, especially men. And this is what makes you approachable. This also what determines what type of man shows up for you on the outside is really determined by who you are, what type of woman you are on the inside. So with that being said, one way to increase your vibe and to shift it so that you can shift the type of men that you usually attract into your life is to change the story that you've been telling yourself about yourself in your head for years, right? And this is really based off of, most of it is based off of negative experiences that you've had with men or other situations that might affect men. So things that have to do, like, for example, with your body, right? So say, for example, if you were 14 and in the span of a couple of years, a couple of people made comments about your weight and said, oh, because you're fat, I can't date you, right? So in your head, unconsciously, you have taken on this persona and this story in your head that I'm not good enough because I'm fat. So men are not going to want to date me. Therefore, when men do come along who are interested in me, then I have to be with them because they obviously like me even though I'm fat. So I have to stay with them, right? Because I don't feel worthy enough, right? Or I don't feel good enough to attract somebody else. So that first person who comes along and he shows me some type of love or affection, I'm going to give him my attention because I know I'm not going to be able to get anything else, right? So that's a story. This is simply an example, but that's an example of a story that we tell ourselves about ourselves that we kind of make up from negative experiences that we've had, right? So I just gave a teenage example, but you can also have an example of once you became an adult or even a previous relationship. If there's something that everybody in relationships always tell you is something is a problem, or there's something that always happens, you start to tell yourself a certain story in your head. So unconsciously, you kind of play that story out, and that is kind of how you have certain men that are attracted to you, because like attracts like, right? You like my two hearts are cute. Like attracts like. So if you over here thinking, okay, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, I'm not good enough, and maybe you don't think it on a surface level, but it's normally a very unconscious thing. So you really have to dig deep to pull out those things that are holding you back. And even if you don't necessarily think, like, you're like, oh, I deserve to have a good guy, but you still have a lot of baggage that you're carrying that you haven't handled, it doesn't matter, because you're going to radiate from yourself. That vibe is going to radiate, and you're going to attract the guy who's like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. Okay, well, I'm going to have actions that show that you're not good enough. And then once you guys get together, you'll constantly feel as though there's a problem or there's a struggle. There's not peace, and it's not flowing the way you want to, because both of you guys are showing up with your baggage. Because like I said, like attracts like, right? I'm not good enough. This person usually thinks they're not good enough either, or they like to be with other people who feel that way because then they can treat you a certain way. Okay. So again, one quick way to shift your vibe is you have to dig deep to uncover what is the story that you're telling yourself about yourself in terms of men and in terms of dating. That is where you will be able to shift your vibe and be able to move into a new direction where you attract different types of men who show up on dates, or the type of men that you enter in relationships with. That's when you'll start to see a dynamic shift. But if you do not take the time to do the work, the hard work, the deep work, and that's journaling, or that's getting coaching, or that's kind of reading and kind of peeling back the many layers that kind of layer on top of each other when it comes to love and relationships, then you're going to continue to attract the same type of men over and over again, or have experiences that you don't really want to have because you're not learning the lessons that you need to learn, and you are not shifting and changing that story enough to attract new love to come into your life. Okay? Hopefully that helped. Have a good day.